Well, hello there, konnichiwa, good morning to you all. So, usually today was the day where I presented the review for Bleach, but since there will be no Bleach in the next couple of weeks, so I decided to kind of pick up on something that I decided to make on my channel, but in the meantime I never uploaded a new video about it. And I think it was 1 month or 2 months ago that put a video or uploaded a video about the greatest anime series of all times, my top 20 anime series of all times. And the first video I released was about a series called Legend of the Galactic Heroes. And that series, for me, in my top 20 greatest anime series of all times, ranks 2 in my list. So, taking advantage in a way of the Bleach hiatus, and since I usually post two Bleach videos, one with my review and another one later on about predictions of next week and some discussion about stuff that happened in this week and other theories I come up and so on. So I will take this opportunity and will continue putting these videos about the greatest anime series of all times on my top 20 list. And this series that I will be talking today ranks 3 on my list. And I remember watching this series when I was a young kid. This series actually aired in the 80s, end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s in Portugal. I was a young boy at that time, but this series I always it it caused impact. And the name of the series is called Space Battleship Yamato or Uchu Senkan Yamato, and is a Japanese science fiction anime series, and it's known as Space Cruiser Yamato, Star Blazers, Argo in Greece, and other names. Um, and this series is kinda important because this series marks the turn towards more complex works, and eventually it was one of the influences in works as Mobile Suit Gundam and even Neo Genesis Evangelion. So this is kind of the grandfather or one of the grandfathers of the great sagas with mechas and so on. And the genre of this series is a space opera, military science fiction, and adventure. And the anime television series that aired between 6th of October of 1974 to 30th of March of 1975 was directed by Leiji Matsumoto and Noboru Ishiguro, and was produced by Yoshinobu Nishizaki, and was produced by Academy Productions. And basically, this series follows the first season, Space Battleship Yamato, basically starts when a race, alien race called Gamilans or Gamulus, launched the radioactive meteorite into Earth, rendering all the surface of the planet inhabited. So mankind was forced to go underground and build huge underground cities. But the radioactivity slowly it began infiltrating even in those underground cities. And after the scientists kind of arrived to the conclusion that probably mankind will be extinct in 1 year, the space fleet of Earth that was constantly losing battles to this enemy receives a message from a distant planet, and this message, this capsule, was retrieved in Mars, in planet Mars. And basically in there are blueprints to build a space engine that was offered to us by Queen Starsha of a planet called Iskander in the Magellanic Cloud. And she says that if mankind wants to survive, they should build this uh, reactor and try to reach our planet because she possesses a device that is in that enables us from cleaning our planet from all radioactivity. And then since we the humans were constantly beaten down by these alien race, the space fleet of Earth kinda began uh, building a great spaceship in the ruins of the Japanese battleship Yamato. Uh, and that's what gives this series the name, because eventually using that as a cover they made a spaceship similar to the battleship Yamato that was sunk in Second World War. Uh, and then basically the first season is the trip of this ship and this crew until they reach Iskander, and they're all fight. Uh, During all the trip, they constantly fight the forces of Gamilans, and eventually they were able to arrive at the planet. They got the device, and then they returned to Earth, and Earth was saved. Then uh, they did make a video to say goodbye to the series, but a movie, but the movie it was not well accepted. So they then make a second season, and this second season was called Space Battleship Yamato 2. Uh, and basically, this series ran from uh, 14th of October of 1978 to April 4 of 1979. Um, and in this time the protagonists do encounter a new enemy, the White Comet Empire, uh, that are en route to Earth to conquer us, and this because they kinda receive a request from help from another planet, and the space battleship Yamato was sent on that mission, and this basically is the fight uh, against the White Comet Empire. Then we have a television movie called Yamato: The New Voyage. The dated of 1979, and it's a television movie, or is also called Yamato the No Journey. And this time there is the appearance of a new enemy called the Black Nebula Empire. Um, uh, and later on we have the Be Forever Yamato. It's the third movie and continues this in a way the story of the last one, and it's again against the Black Nebula Empire. And finally, we have a third season called Space Battleship Yamato 3. And this series ran from 11 of October of 1918 to April 4 of 1981. And basically this is because there was a war in space between two rival empires, and one nuke they launched during that battle hit our sun. Um, and basically this is a series that basically the mission of the Yamato this time is to find a new home planet for planet Earth, since our sun will explode. And also we have again the appearance of Tesla and the remaining Gamilans, because their homeworld was also destroyed in the previous series. Um, ah, that's it. And this series ends when the crew of the Yamato kinda rescues a princess, Ruda, and then when she returned to his homeworld, she kinda decides to give special device to the Earthlings that will restore the nature of the sun and preventing the fusion of the sun and their destruction. And then we have the final Yamato, that ended with a movie in 1983. Uh, and basically that's it's the end of the series. And nonetheless, um, currently they are doing a remake of the first season. It's called Space Battleship Yamato 2199. So, but since this takes serious time, I will wait for uh, more episodes to be released, and then I will be watching it, and probably I will make a review. And basically we have a lot of characters that appeared in this series. Interesting characters, for instance, we have Captain Okita that appeared in the first season. It's a very interesting man, he's a very interesting character. The main hero of the first season is Suzumi Kodai. Uh, and it's very interesting. We have also other interesting characters: Yuki, Daisuke Shima, the Doctor. We have a lot of interesting characters, and it was a very good series. Um, um, it was a series that, like I say, marked could be considered the ancestor or one of the grandfathers of the great series that follow up, like Mobile Suit Gundam and Neo Genesis Evangelion, because this series was important because it marks a turning point in the anime world, or in the terms of the stories that were produced in the anime world. Like I say, I watched this when I was very younger, and from what later on, this was always an obsession, because since that young age, I always tried to discover what series was that I was seeing when I was a little kid. And a couple of years ago, I did I decided to make a serious research on this, and eventually refound the series and the episodes of the series and so on, and rewatch it all, the sequence of the until 1983. And I know I already also watched the first remake episode of the series in 2012, and I like it, but I decided that I will let other episodes come out, and then watch it in full. So, well, and this is also a very interesting series, and you can see in this series the new discoveries that were made in space, because I do remember one scene that in the first season they say, and I watched this again, in the first season they say there are X number of stars, and I think it's in the second or in the third season they already have the double or the triple or the fourth number of stars than the original series has. So this is interesting because it shows us how also science developed in terms of astronomy in these couple of years, and it's very interesting indeed. And that's it for me, for because of my personal history with this series, and because for me, and after rewatching it a few years ago, uh, and because this series was one of the grandfathers of the great series of space operas and others that appeared later on in the 80s and in the 90s, like in the case of the Legend of the Galactic Heroes, is also one of the grandfathers of this genre. So I think that this series, without a doubt, deserves the ranking 3 on my top 20 anime series. So this is my third series, the top 3 ranking series of my greatest anime series of all times is Space Battleship Yamato, or Uchu Senkan Yamato. And that's it. So hope you enjoyed the video, stay well, peace, see you soon.